Time for us to go to the Hume Football League. It's a soggy league this year, and the man that's got he's got his paddocks wet. He's been out. He's probably wet every time I ring him. He's got rain falling from the sky. Phil Bouffler joins us, the president of the Hume Footy League in New South Wales. And Phil, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Wayne. Had another 14 mils overnight, so yeah, sort of a overcast day today, bit of wind and that, so I'm still waiting for my urea plane to turn up, so I hope it'll be here soon.
Yes, you can't get on the paddock, has to get the flights to do that, but I want to ask you about the situation of rainfall. How much have you had over the last 12 months?
We wouldn't believe this. I added this up this morning, so in the calendar year from last August to this August, I've had about 820 mils, which is almost double our annual rainfall. We'd be around 450. So it's just incredible. And, and they're forecasting a wet spring. The La Nina's meant to go on into the spring, so God only knows how that's going to go.
Wow. Getting tractors and then headers and so forth, it's going to be a really interesting time. Well, look, talking about, they'll be pretty happy about that, the falls. And I'll tell you what, the farmers at Brocklesby and Burrumbuttock be reasonably happy with the performance they put up against the Canola boys out at Osborne. 12-13 to the top side, but Brockburn tested them 11-4. That's probably the first time in the whole season the undefeated Osborne have got in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple of Osborne fellows yesterday, and they reckon they just got out of jail. So that was a close game. That great effort by the Boo Boo Saints. They're just heading into the finals, and that. So it was a really, really good effort. They were winning for probably 2/3 of the day. Then they just powered home at the end, Osborne. But 15-point win to Osborne. But they were tested.
They certainly were. Ryan Collins got going with 3 in the end. Connor Galvin and Isaac McDonald did some damage late, and it was McDonald and Edward O'Connell both getting a couple of goals. Josh Gazitsky, that's a famous name in that area, and Darcy Hansen too, playing some good football. It was Peter Cook and Keith Talent kicking 3, and he's having a good season, booted 36 over the year. Having a look at the next game, and this one was between the Murray Magpies and Lockhart, and I went on a limb. I thought Lockhart might show something until three-quarter time. They were right in this game, but got nailed by the Magpies, 13-10, 88-5, 6-36.
Yeah, I was watching that game on that was our streamed game, broadcast game this week, so I was watching a little bit of that. Lockhart got off to a fly, and I thought, here's a go, this could be an upset, but they're just a little bit too big-bodied, the Murray Magpies, and they just come over the top and smoke them in the end, Lockhart. So, credit to Lockhart. They've battled on all year, so I think they'll probably be looking forward to the end of the season.
There will be. Chait Birkinshaw booted 3, led from the front, and Luke Argus, Ryan Shaw and Matty Musgrove got into it. Luke Ramley and Jarman Teasdale were good players for the Murray Magpies. Other matches, this was thrilling stuff and puts Henty still with a small chance of finals football. They beat round Mulbundry Waller in the absolute classic 10-9-69 to the Giants 9-12-66. What a thrilling match of football.
Unbelievable, Wayne. So they'd be thinking about this, the Giants. If they'd have won that game, they'd have been on 36 points, guaranteed a final spot. Now there's a little bit of jeopardy there. They're only 2 points in front of Handy, so, big results this weekend, but a good win by Handy.
Well, it was led from Shannon Turlick. He's had an absolute beauty again. Booted 3, he's kicked 55 for the season in a side that at this point's not in the top 6. That is a very good effort. Harrison McCready and Braden Skiers, they fought hard for the whole match. Brian Learski tries hard. Chris Duck's a good player, and on the goal-scoring side of it, they just didn't have their star, Nathan Wardius, pulling him down. And Daniel Learski and Lucas Melia led with 2 goals apiece. So it is a telling sign there for the Giants, with Wardius not kicking more than 1 goal. But Gindera beat CDHBU, and the Power might be thinking about what might have been this year. They've only gone down here by a couple of goals. They did that the week before against one of the top 6 sides, so they're not far off the pace, the Power.
There's a couple of, they started well, and they had a bit of a mid-season lapse, and they sort of come back to haunt them a little bit now. So that was a good effort. Gindera playing well at home, going down by 17 points. That was a pretty good effort by CDHBU. So they've battled on all year, and they'll be building for next year.
They need to, and look out for some good recruits. I have recruited a couple of good ones. Corey Smith's very good 7 from him. He was very good. Nathan Rhodes and Callum Butler, and Jesse Harris, Lockie Dwight, and also Isaac Dykes, and a good play from Mitchell Lawrence, kicking 3 goals in the end for Gindera to lead the way for the Bulldogs. And this was a big win for Holbrook, 14-20 to the Billabong Crows, 4-4 at Urana. Unfortunately, Urana, or the Billabong Crows, not in the same class this year as Holbrook.
No, well, I went out to that game on Saturday, and a few storms getting around, but it was reasonably dry there. So, that was a good win by Holbrook. They're playing pretty good football. And they fancy their chances a bit in the final. So it'll be interesting. So maybe Osborne won't get it all their way, but that was a great win to Holbrook, especially away from home.
Certainly will be. How Long beat the Calcan Lions 6 goals, 10-46 to 5-6-36 in the final clash. Okay, the ladder looks like this. You made mention of it. Osborne top, of course, 17 and zip, haven't lost yet. Holbrook 15 and 2. How Long 12 and 5. They're one game clear, but less percentage than Brock Burham. Then Gindera are another couple of games away in 5th place. Ramwell Bundary-Waller 6th place on 32 points. Henty 7th place on 30. It goes down to the wire, doesn't it, this weekend?
It does a little bit. There's a couple of games here, like Gindera. They've got a good percentage, really, Gindera. So, and How Long not so good. So, it's just going to be interesting. Like Ramwell Bundary have got a poor percentage, so it's just it's just going to be interesting to see what happens. There's a lot of games. There's probably 2 or 3 games that will have a big impact on this final positioning in the 6.
It will. Brock Burham last week showed they could go with Osborne. They take on Holbrook, so this could be very interesting because they could meet again in a final at some point in time. And Brock Burham could take, as you just mentioned, they could take 3rd spot. So it could change who you end up playing in 6th spot in a top 6. So who are you tipping here between these two very good sides, Brock Burham and Holbrook? I reckon match of the round.
Good game this little bit. Brock Burham have played well last week. They're up and about a little bit. Holbrook played well as well, but I just think at home, I think probably Holbrook will be a little bit too strong. I think they played well last weekend.
All right, I'm going to tip a little upset here. I reckon the Saints are just building for finals, and last week's performance showed that. How Long will beat the Murray Magpies, near neighbours down at How Long. But we'll move on to Gindera and Henty, because if Gindera were to lose to Henty at Henty, remember, and Henty have gone very well in the last part of the season, making a run for the finals, Phil, and could just test the Gindera Bulldogs.
Well, this is what Henty needs. The only way they're going to get in is if they beat Gindera, then they're going to have to rely on CDHBU beating Ramwell Bundary, then they'll just simply Henty in with the Giants out. So this is a big game, this game. Henty, they played well at Henty. They've had all those away games and they're getting their club rooms ready early in the year. Now they've had a stream of games at home, so it's really suited them. So they're coming home with a wet sail, Henty. This will be a very good game. This could be an upset almost. I don't know. This is going to be pretty close. I think probably even... Oh, geez, I don't know about this one. I'll pick Henty at home. There you go.
I reckon too. I'm going to go with the red and white Swampies. Here's the interesting thing. Over at Waller, the Giants play CDHBU. Now, Henty and Waller are not that far away from each other, Phil, so I reckon there could be a little bit of driving between the two games going on.
Might be a little bit happening here, Wayne. So, yeah, this will be another interesting game. At the end of the day, you've got to be the master of your own domain sort of thing, or, your own destiny. So, simple enough. It's a simple equation. If the Giants win, they're in. They're in the finals. If they lose and Henty win, they're out. So you can't be relying on other sides to lose or win for your finals campaign. It's not the way you want to limp into the finals. So they really need to make a statement around Bundary and have a big win here.
They do, and get some form. CDHBU, though, as I mentioned, their last couple of weeks have been very good. In round 16, CDHBU came out and took on Brock Burham. Only lost by 2 goals to Brock Burham on that occasion in a very good match of football. And they had their win over the Billabong Crows comfortably by about 8 goals the week before that. So CDHBU aren't in poor form, and I get a feeling that CDHBU could do the damage here and could beat Ramwell Bundary-Waller.
Yeah, it's going to be a close game. Look, I just think at Waller, good ground over there. I just think there's too much at stake here for the Giants, so they'll have to win. I think the Giants might win, but I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a very good game.
I reckon the Calcan and Lockhart will be good for the fellas at Lockhart to regroup. They've got a new coach for next year. They'll put in a good, credible effort after last week, but Calcan should get them.
Calcan will be too strong at Lockhart. As I keep saying every week, Lockhart try hard and that sort of thing. But just smaller bodies and they've run out of steam. And I just think Calcan will get up here. All
right, it's the Billabong Crows, the southern canola growers against the northern canola growers here. The Osborne boys at home. I just feel it's going to be a pretty hard day, and they may be going back there to Osborne or to the Osborne club rooms afterwards. The fellas from Osborne and enjoying a big win.
Always a big crowd this game, so this will be a good game. The battle of the birds, so to speak. So the old ostriches up against the crows, but I think the ostriches might be a little bit strong here. So just at home, they're playing well. They probably, even though they struggled a little bit last week, but let's see how they turn up this week after that last week's effort.
Yeah, going to be a big effort for the Billabong Crows to get close to the top side, Osborne, in the last round of home and away matches. Mothballs for a lot of players. They'll be hanging up the boots that they won't be making the final six. But for those, they'll go into finals next week. And then on to what will be the medal count. And there is a change of date for that, Phil.
Yeah, Wayne, we've had a change of date. So we've got a new venue this year. We've moved into the commercial club and we've had good service and everything out at Handy, but we just thought we'd have a bit of a change and go into the commercial club, maybe a little bit bigger crowd there. We're hoping to get about 350 people in there, so it should be a huge night. And unfortunately, the night we normally had it the Wednesday before the preliminary final, but that was already booked out. So we've gone to the Monday the 12th. So in some respects, I think it's not a bad idea because we were sort of forced to go there. But I think it's going to work out pretty well because we're going to know everyone who's in the grand final. And, so we'll be able to pump up the grand final a little bit more. And I just think it'll be a great night. So it'll be on Monday, the 12th of September.
Yeah, the 12th of September. And Phil Bouffler talking Hume football. We'll catch up with you next week.
Good on you, Wayne. Thank you.